Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to take an incredibly deep dive into an object that is probably sitting right there on your desk. I want to show you how a seemingly simple, everyday stationary tool is actually an absolute marvel of engineering, history, and global commerce. Okay, let's kick this off by doing a quick mental exercise. I want you to picture a classic, simple yellow pencil. Now, focus intensely on its everyday details. What is it actually made of? How on earth did it get there? This brilliantly illustrates how philosopher Rudolf Steiner used the humble pencil as the focal point for a meditation exercise designed to awaken the mind. It's a powerful idea, right? Focusing intently on the mundane to unlock a much deeper understanding. So let's do exactly that today. Section 1, the humble pencil, anatomy of a tool. Let's start our deconstructive journey right here, zooming in on what this object is actually built from. If we break down the physical anatomy, we find a carefully crafted tool that's usually about 8 inches long and a 1/4 inch in diameter. But the materials are where it gets super fascinating. It's made of durable cedar wood, specifically California cedar, which is chosen because it sharpens without splintering, coated in a sleek polyurethane paint. And the most interesting part? It holds a core that isn't even lead at all. It's actually a precisely manufactured mixture of graphite and clay. Section 2. A surprising history, tracing the timeline. Let's see how this simple object builds upon a surprisingly complex and honestly fascinating global history. What's truly incredible is the origin of the word itself. Believe it or not, the word pencil originally referred to a fine camel hair brush used by artists back in the Middle Ages. It literally comes from a Latin word meaning a little tail. It wasn't until much later that it became associated with writing graphite. So let's trace this timeline. It all kicked off around 1564 when a massive deposit of pure graphite was discovered in Borrowdale, England. People went from marking sheep with it to encasing that messy graphite in a wooden holder, which was invented by a Swiss naturalist named Conrad Gessner in 1565. Then, jump ahead to 1795, when Nicolas Jacques Conté figured out how to roast a clay graphite mix in a kiln so he could control its hardness. Finally, in 1858, Hyman Lipman patents the attached eraser. I mean, the technological leaps spanning over those 3 centuries are just astounding. And just to put that history into perspective, the absolute oldest known pencil in the world was found in a German timbered house built way back in 1630. It really highlights how revolutionary it was to encase that brittle, incredibly messy graphite inside a rough piece of wood just to protect the user's hands. Section 3, the mechanical revolution, engineering the core. Now we're zooming in even further to see how pure mechanics completely transformed the act of writing. The crucial point here is that mechanical pencils evolved through some very distinct engineering steps. They started out with basic screw-based systems where you'd manually twist the barrel. Then came clutch systems that literally opened tiny jaws to drop the lead freely. Next were the ratchet or repeater pencils, the ones most of us used in school, that incrementally advance the lead with a click. But the absolute pinnacle of this evolution is the auto-rotation system. We're talking about advanced systems like the Kuru Toga Brad that automatically spin the lead 90 degrees counterclockwise every single time you press down. It ensures you literally always have a sharp point. But when did this kind of mechanism actually go mainstream? While the Eversharp, patented in 1913 by Charles R. Kieran, was the massive commercial breakthrough. This thing sold over 12 million units by the early 1920s, firmly making mechanical pencils a household staple across the globe. There was one major roadblock, though. Traditional clay mixed graphite was just way too brittle to be made into tiny diameters. That all completely changed when Pentel invented a polymer binder in 1962. This polymer replaced the clay, allowing for ultra-thin 0.5 millimeter and 0.7 millimeter leads that wouldn't snap under pressure. It was a total game changer for technical drawing. Section 4, making the grade, decoding pencil grades. Have you ever wondered what those specific letters and numbers stamped on the side of your pencil actually mean? Let's figure it out. So there are 2 main systems at play here, and basically adjusting the clay to graphite ratio dictates exactly how dark your lines will be. In the US numerical scale, a higher number means a harder core and a lighter mark. Internationally, they use the HB scale. H stands for hard, B stands for black, and F is fine. So that famous standard US number 2 pencil we all took tests with, it's roughly equivalent to an international HB. Here's a fun fact for you, though. Because there is no universal, heavily regulated industry standard for exactly how dark an HB must be, regional preferences totally rule. This means a Japanese HB pencil will feel noticeably softer and write much darker than a German one, catering specifically to the writing styles of those different regions. And here's an interesting constraint. While standard wooden pencils boast a whopping 24 distinct grades of hardness, mechanical pencil leads are streamlined into just 10 specific grades, ranging from 4H to 4B. Section 5. The modern pencil market, a lucrative global space. Now let's zoom way, way out to look at the massive global business behind these tiny wooden sticks today. $635 million. Yes, you heard that number right. The 2024 global market size for drawing pencils sits at a staggering $635 million. And with a compound annual growth rate of over 5%, it is expected to grow significantly, pushing towards $915 million by 2031. It is an incredibly competitive, highly lucrative space. The heavyweights of this industry are absolutely dominated by legacy European and Japanese brands. Faber-Castell, Stettler, and Mitsubishi Pencil lead the pack in global revenues. And they win not just through sheer volume, but through highly specialized craftsmanship, whether that's premium artist graphite, technical drafting tools, or advanced mechanical systems. Taking the absolute top spot is Faber-Castell. They prove that a family-owned heritage brand, established way back in 1761, mind you, can completely dominate a modern global market by owning vertically integrated, carbon-neutral cedar plantations and fiercely focusing on premium quality. They also really like to show off their engineering prowess. In fact, they created a limited edition 17.5mm pencil. It's this fun, micro-sized marvel made of spruce with a tiny real 0.5mm graphite lead that practically requires a pair of tweezers to use. But look, these companies aren't just resting on their laurels. To survive and thrive in the digital age, pencil companies are turning to massive eco-friendly innovations. We're talking sproutable seed barrels, so you can literally plant your pencil in the dirt when it's too short to write with. They are also heavily leveraging TikTok creators and building hybrid drawing kits that integrate seamlessly with digital art software like Adobe Fresco. Bringing us right back to our opening meditation exercise, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Think about the centuries of metallurgical discovery, the brilliant engineering breakthroughs, and the complex global trade encapsulated in that tiny piece of painted cedar. How will you view your seemingly simple stationary tools differently the next time you pick one up? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.